So there's indeed a difference between anarcho-capitalism, which is something that people should be very concerned about in a state that cannot be sustained because of, emergent order underwritten by, two laws, the law of equal growth and law of demand, and you always have centers of gravity and all this other stuff. And say other forms of capitalism, whether it's techno-capitalism, like former President Reagan's approach, or common good capitalism, as is defined by Rubio, and that kind of centers on, and those differ from socialism. I'll get to that in a minute, although the main difference between, say, public intervention in a capitalist system, depending on which type of capitalist system you're talking about, and or communism or socialism, is three main areas: the prerequisites that have to be met, the nature that defines, and ultimately what end that public intervention is applied. Right? So, in generally in capitalism, the prerequisites are a market imperfection defined as a public need but not a market niche. Examples of that would be basic research or vaccines. Dynamic learning curve, that means, like, maybe the entrance barrier is too high, so you have to have a large amount of public intervention and research and development. Think of the age of big science, like during the First World War, because things have gotten so complex that the average little tinkerer in his garage that came up with, like, the vulcanization of rubber, which is really cool, is like, the minimum entry barrier is beyond what a normal person individual could do. And or first mover advantage, provided the public sector can fix the problem, the benefits of the fix is greater than the cost it takes to fix it. And the approach, the investment, is an investment in productivity, because you don't want to do things like induce, what is it, people to be lazy. That goes to Nail Bunny's part, right? Which is how people act when they're given something. So it's true. They did this with, like, insurance companies, and you have like a rental car and people just beats the rental car into oblivion. I've done it. Almost everybody's done it because they don't have a vested interest in, they don't own the car. It's like they bore that out with, like, behavioral economic assessments and analysis. More broadly, you might say such approaches, or if you're going to assist people if done wrong, and this is where socialism really fucks up, above and beyond the violence and dishonest nature that underwrites those ideology and its subsequent deficient socioeconomic systems, results in the perverse manifestation of genetically ingrained behavior, right? Which is, human beings are natural short term maximizers and free ride whenever possible. And the reason we have that, in part, genetically ingrained behavior, is because human beings, for like 99.99999% of their time, were like hunter gatherers. We lived in a very brutal existence where you didn't know where you're going to get your next meal. So you had to maximize all the stuff you could get at a short period of time. So in modern society, and this is Nail Bunny's point, such genetically ingrained behavior can manifest itself in very self-destructive behaviors like laziness to malaise, where people are most happy when they produce value and they know their life has meaning, right? Similarly real is the challenges that Armin rightly brought up are posed to those who face legitimate human security concerns, right? They don't know where they're going to get their next meal. They don't know, they don't even have money for a phone, right? So Armin's saying you want to address the bottom tiers of Maslow's hierarchy of needs so that it enables people to have that socioeconomic mobility. Indeed, that's something His Highness Mohammed Reza Pahlavi, the Shah, did, right? Samantha, it's not that people are saying that you shouldn't have people involved, right? Rubio is not an ANCAP. Armin's not an ANCAP. I definitely am not an ANCAP. It's how you best do it. There is not one success story, not one, of any socialist system wherever it's been tried. Even if you took away all of the hostile political underpinnings, the structural deficiencies are so great, they're so great, that it literally destroys the productive base that gives you the ability to help people in the long term. That's called intertemporal utility function, contained within Ramsey's model of endogenous growth. I do differ from Armin in how the focus. He's more demand side, I'm supply side. That said, the focus is the same. We just are using different levers, right? I hope you understand, though, Samantha. This isn't, Armin's not an ANCAP. I'm sorry I misunderstood you the other day. I misunderstood what you were saying. I hope that helps kind of put some, provide a toolbox and a flashlight on how people might think about how resolving it. That's a real issue. These are real issues, man. things that His Highness Mohammed Reza Pahlavi the Shah directly tried to resolve, and in many ways, before those red black alliance bastards fucked him, was in the process of like moving Iran into the an era of tolerant modernity. I mean, Samantha, just think about what happened in Iran, right? I mean, the Shah, this is from President Nixon. This isn't even me. Even President Nixon said the Shah was unbelievably progressive as it was traditionally defined under former President Teddy Roosevelt, not the co opted, warped, weaponized redefinition of it by neo Marxists, right? And like, people's lives were changed instantly. My God. And then you had those red black bastards fuck everything up. And look what they're living in now. That's why Iranians are protesting. They're tired of being ground into Alpo and having some Islamic fundamentalist douche canoe tell them they got to shut their mouth and starve to death while they fly around on jets getting like banging hookers who are sniffing cocaine off a toilet seat. I mean, what the previous Ayatollah's son was gay, yet he's going to tell other people you can't even, show your face? That's bullshit. Anyway, I'm not angry at you, Samantha. I'm just angry at what those commie freaks did to the Shah and the Iranian people. I hope that gives you something that maybe, some tools to use.
By the way, guys, before we move to the next person, I just saw Eric Bong is now in our premium call. So, Eric, welcome to our premium calls. And just want to let you know that I don't know if you know, but if you want to speak, you could click on the reaction button at the bottom of the screen and then click on the hand raise like this. Oh, yeah, Eric has been here before. Okay, fantastic. But I think this is the first time in his premium call. So that's fine.